What happens to a human psyche when you spend 9 days in complete, total, and utter darkness? The effects on the body, the mind, and the soul are extremely profound and can alter the way that you move in your life going forward. I recently just got out of one of these 9-day darkroom retreats in Thailand. And in today's video, I want to share more about the effects that it had on me. So, number one, you can educate yourself on this. And number two, if you may be feeling the call to try out an experience on this level, we're going to cover the bases in terms of what it looks like on a day to day basis, what happens to your body, how to prepare for this so that you can get the most out of your upcoming darkroom retreat. This is not for the faint hearted. This is not for the average person in the world. This is an act that takes a lot of courage, and at the same time, it has a lot of reward attached to it. This is not the thing that the mainstream person is going to, number one, do, or number two, even be interested in it. So the fact that you're watching this video shows me not that you're not that type of person. So as a way to show your support for the channel and the message of being different in the world, smash the subscribe button down below and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so let's get into some of the information about what a dark room entails. We're going to cover what does an average day look like, what food do you eat, what teaching do you receive while in there to help you process it all, how do you move around in the utter darkness, how do you brush your teeth, how do you go to the toilet, how do you shower, are you locked up, can you not escape from it, and then a few lessons that I learned and takeaways from the actual darkroom retreat. So to give you a little bit of context, this was a retreat that I recently attended in Thailand at the Mantak Chia retreat center. So this is a very powerful teacher, which I'm going to talk about in a second. He's written many books. I first came across his work when he wrote a book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man that was sweeping across the US and North America and all Western countries. Obviously, men wanted to get better in terms of their sexual performance, but the book went a lot deeper. It had all to do with Chinese medicine and ancient energy circuits in the body in terms of how to circulate energy around. And in this darkroom retreat, that was a big component of it, becoming aware of your body's energy, where you have stuck energy, where you have blocked energy, and how you can use these tools to operate in your day-to-day life so that when you get triggered, when you have a negative emotion come up, trauma come up, negative reactions come up, how can you actually process that in a healthy way? So this was a total of 9 days, like I said, and the thing is, it wasn't just a 9 days in darkness. Talking about the food a little bit, you actually have a very limited food you can consume at the same time. We were fasting at something called a Piku diet, Piku fasting, which was used by the ancient Chinese masters. So your body becomes in alignment as well as your soul, your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. So it's not just you're there and you're pigging out all day, because that's one of the things you'll realize when you're bored, when you're anxious, when you do have a negative situation happen to you. One of the ways you look to counteract that very quickly is by eating, by getting full, by eating sweets, chocolates, all of these types of things, the sugar, the fats, where they take that away from you. It's an extremely deprivation type setting going on there. Okay, you don't even see your own face for 9 days. You can't even see what you look like. You have no human relationships or interactions. You can talk there, but it's encouraged not to actually do it in order for you to get the most benefits. So it's not like, hey, how's your day going? You're talking to your friend, your girlfriend, your boss. There's nothing. It's just you. Okay, and you have to face all those things that you've been suppressing. It's so easily in our natural life to suppress things with work, suppress things with going on your phone, suppressing things with entertainment. But there, everything just slows down. Everything just totally stops. And it's just you and the darkness and your thoughts and your feelings. I'm not going to lie, when I first came into this, like how to prepare, I was pretty freaked out. I've done silent retreats and I've done a lot of things along these lines, but this thing going into it was the most fear I had felt because I was worried. I know after a few days, what happens is DMT starts getting released in your brain from all the darkness. And what happens in that process is you start to see things. I was seeing all these different lights, all these different colors would show up, these energy bursts would come up. But at the same time, other people had even more profound visions where they see full on visuals like images, people, entities emerging in front of them. And going in there, I was really worried that I was going to see some like devilish image and I wouldn't be able to get away from it. But yeah, for me anyway, nothing like that happened. The most challenging thing for me was, again, my own thoughts, the rumblings of my own mind. It would just carry on again and again and again. So they explain to you for the first 3 days, it's almost like your mind is carrying on as per usual. All the thoughts that you think on the daily basis of things you have to do at work, things people said to you, someone wrote a mean comment on your social media, your taxes, are you investing enough money? Do you have enough money? Dealings with clients and customers and people at your work situation. It's like all that mind movement has such a momentum that even when you get in the darkness for the first 3 days, it's almost like that same record tape is just playing in your head. So it's like 2 days in, you haven't spoken to anyone, you're in this completely new environment, but these same thoughts keep going through your head. Oh, I've got to do this. This person said this to me. What should I do in this situation? Because the mind, almost like a bicycle wheel, even when you're not pedaling it, it has its own momentum. So the first 2 or 3 days can seem somewhat the most challenging because the mind just won't shut up. And it's almost like this irritating thing in your head that you're just trying to let go of. But after day 3, there's a bit of a transition. That's when you start to come into more of this calm, this peace. You really drop into the experience. And that's one of the benefits of the darkness. I would say the darkness is a profound teacher, not in that it gives you anything, but it takes everything away from you. It takes all the ways in which you externally validate yourself, it removes them from you. It takes away all the distractions from you. It takes away everything outside away from you. And all you're left is what's inside. You get a very clear look at that. You also get a very clear perspective on your emotions and your thoughts that have such a major impact on your life. And one of the most profound lessons I want to share one right away, is I remember it was probably on about, I think, day 3. So I was at my room, it's complete darkness. You're in this almost double-story building, this one in Thailand, that they've been doing it there for 30 years. So these people are experienced, and that was really important to me. But some people's rooms are upstairs and some people's rooms are downstairs. I was lucky enough, my room was downstairs because it's complete darkness. You can't see anything. And in the morning, they would like leave tea on the table. The tea was really great. A lot of herbal things, organic stuff as well, helping you detox your body as well as your emotions while you're there. But one of the days I was walking towards the table to get my tea in the morning. And I remember as I'm walking over there, in my body, I feel this like a little bit of anxiety or this little bit of hurriedness. And it manifests in my thoughts where it's like, okay, I'm going to get the tea. Then I got to drink my tea. Then I'm going to have a shower in the morning. Then I got to do this, this, and this. And it just really snapped for me in that moment of how much I was living my life for the next moment. How much in my day-to-day life outside of the darkroom retreat is I'm trying to get away from this moment. So you're probably aware of this concept like being present. If you've read books on spirituality, this will be common for you. But just to explain it, it's almost like you've got the horizontal version of your life. So you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast, you brush your teeth, you shower, you go to work, you go to gym, you have dinner, and you go to sleep. So that horizontal dimension of time does exist in your life, but the real thing is there's not many moments. You could look at your day and say, there's this moment, and there's this moment, and there's that moment, and there's that moment. Because in truth, in the vertical dimension of your life, which is actually the fundamental reality, there's always only one moment. And it's this moment now. Whether it's in the morning, you're experiencing now. Whether it's at lunchtime, you're experiencing now. Whether it's at dinner, you're experiencing now. Every time you think of the past, you think of it now. But you're thinking about the past in the now, and that memory that you're thinking of didn't happen in the past, it happened in the now. And when you're in the future, that future moment doesn't really exist. You're thinking about it now, and you're thinking about something that could or may happen. So the only thing that is real, ultimately, the only thing that exists is the present moment. And it's one thing understanding it intellectually, but it's another thing to experience it in your body, to have that realization deep in your soul that the only thing that exists, the only thing that is real is the present moment. And I had to investigate what was my relationship with the present moment, which is another way of saying, what is my relationship with life? Because life can only happen now. Life only happens now in this moment. And I noticed in the darkroom retreat that my relationship with now, the present moment, the only moment there ever is I almost had a negative relationship with it. I'm like, this moment's not good enough. I'm walking over to get my tea. Let me do this quick because I'm going to go shower, and that's going to be a better moment. And it just hit me in that time as I was walking there. It's like, there is no better moment. If you're listening to this right now thinking like, one day something's going to happen and my life's going to be better, of course, on the horizontal dimension of time, your life can get better and it can improve, but ultimately it's still going to be this moment, and your life is never going to be better than this moment. Just let that sink in. Wherever you are right now, like, this is the moment your life is unfolding. And are you trying to get to the next moment? For me, even when I have my morning routine in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm brushing my teeth. This is kind of boring. Let me get to the next thing. Okay, I got to meditate. Okay, I'm meditating. Okay, I got to get to work. Okay, I got to shower. And it's this continual rushing, this continuing trying to escape this moment because I'm under the illusion that there's going to be a better moment in the future. But the future doesn't exist. And all I'm having is this escape type attitude to the present moment. So even if I get to that quote unquote better future where something happens, I still bring that hurriedness with me. It's something that never leaves me. And inside the darkroom, I was able to some extent heal my relationship to the present moment. Another big way this would manifest for me is like when I have negative emotions. So say I feel anxiety or frustration or anger or sadness, it's like this immediate need to escape. I want to get to a future moment where I don't feel anxious, where I don't feel sad, where I don't feel angry. And it's not allowing that sadness to be there. It's not welcome that sad. Cool, I'm in the present moment right now, and right now there's sadness. Maybe an hour later, there won't be sadness, but right now, sadness is part of the present moment. And I want to acknowledge it. I want to acknowledge life and not try to run away to the next thing. I had this in a big thing in my dating life. You know, in the beginning, I was like really sucky with girls. And I'm like, I just want to get really good. And it's this constant striving for the future. And then when I got there, it was kind of like, I still feel exactly the same. You know, my skills had improved over time, which was great. And I had a much better dating life, but I still felt the same because I was always still in that eternal present moment. So maybe just look on your own life and reflect, like catch yourself, because even after the dark room, I still have to catch myself. I feel it in a much better way where, say, food's on the way. I'm like, oh, like the food's coming. Or even when I put food on my fork and I'm just about to eat it, do I catch myself? Do I think that there's going to be a better future moment? The moment when I don't have food in my mouth, that's worse. I want to hurry up and get to the moment where there's food in my mouth. No, I take a second with the food. I say, this is the best moment. The other day I was driving around and I felt this anxiety and I caught myself and I say, this is the best moment. This is the only moment there is. And if there's anxiety, wow, anxiety, you're a welcome guest here today. And I'm not perfect. I'm not a monk or anything like that, but that was a profound, profound lesson that the darkness taught me. Another thing that was really important was the teacher himself. Like I said, it's Mantak Chia. He's written over 60 books on Taoism, energy, healing the body. And I'd read one or two of his books, but I wasn't really that familiar with his teaching. But every day we would have 4-hour lectures and he would take us through all these energy processes to open up our energy channels in our body. A big thing was acknowledging our organs. Even though I've done yoga for a number of years, it's like I didn't even know my basic anatomy. They'd be like, okay, cool, like focus on your spleen. And I'm like, where's that? And luckily they tell you in the beginning, but now I know, oh, here's my spleen, here's my liver, here are my kidneys. And they would teach about how your emotions are associated with different organs. And when you can clean those organs up energetically and replenish them and send love and healing energy towards them, that also has a more balancing effect on your total life. So every day we would go through these different energy exercises, and they were extremely powerful. He would drop in amazing knowledge about ancient Taoist wisdom, how he met his master, how his master and this lineage of Chinese wisdom had only been passed down from one person to the next. And he was the one who was the one called to share this message with the world. And that's why he's written over 60 books on the topic. He's a real master when it comes to these things. And it was just fascinating to learn more about these different effects on the body, and not just learn about them, but you doing the exercises then and there. So I know other dark rooms, they probably don't have that type of teaching as well. I found it really helpful and really enjoyable and really profound. So I would definitely highly recommend it. He'd also just drop in other knowledge, something I found really interesting. Someone was like, oh, where does Taoism come from? Like, how did people establish this? And he would talk about in the ancient Chinese history books. And he's like, you don't have to believe this, but I'm fascinated with these types of topics. He's like, in the ancient Chinese history books, it says that aliens crash landed in ancient China tens of thousands of years ago, and they started to teach the humans about these different energy principles. And to me, that was really fascinating, because I'm a bit of a believer that there was ancient aliens who came to Earth, and they did impact human beings in certain ways. And the fact that that's how Taoism started, the whole yin yang symbol, the ancient Chinese medicine, it all comes from that. I was like, I don't think a lot of people knew that. And I found it really fascinating as well. So the teaching was profound and an amazing experience. Some people ask, how do you move around? So you're in complete darkness. I was wearing an eye shade just in case as well, because there was a few incidents where people would like have a light on their watch or something, and I just wanted to be in complete darkness. But it can be really scary to orientate yourself. There was a couple of people who get lost, and then you just say, hey guys, I'm lost, can someone help me? Luckily it didn't happen to me, because I had a very simple route to my mat, and to where I would eat every day. But it is, you have to really get to know it. And if you get lost, it can be super disorientating. So yeah, you need to look out for that. Another question is like, are you locked up? Are you locked up and you can't get out? No, they do say, hey, the front door's open. You're not locked out. You can go out at any time. But obviously that's not something you want to do, but it's good to know. Like, you're not like, hey, I'm locked up here for 9 days and I can't escape, or anything along those lines. Two other lessons I want to share with you that were really profound is, it was maybe 7, 8 days in when things were just getting deeper and deeper and more profound. And one of the things that happened about day 7, 8 is just this profound joy and this bliss just came up, where it was like my life was so full in and of that moment. Sure, there's a lot of things I want to achieve and goals I want to work towards, but I was like, how am I feeling so much joy, so much love, so much bliss just for hours and hours, just lying there, sitting there, just in this amazing peace that was so vibrantly alive, when I hadn't accomplished anything. I hadn't done anything in my work. I hadn't bought a car or bought a house. It's like nothing had been going on literally in my external world for 6, 7 days, but just this profound joy and deep peace was just bubbling up inside of me. And it just showed me that that's always there underneath the surface. And often we feel we need to add something in so that our life can be better, but often it's actually subtracting all the negative thoughts and all the negative emotions that block that natural joy that's underneath us all the time. And sure, we need to go on journeys that help us to integrate those thought patterns and let go of a lot of emotions. But it's like you have everything deep inside of you. Like, you're all good already. You know, your life can be amazing. That happiness that you're seeking, it's literally already within you. But it's one thing saying that intellectually, and it's another thing really experiencing that. And that was one of the gifts that the dark room retreat gave to me, was that deep experience of like, you're all good, and just bathing in it. And even at one stage, my mind would come in like, oh, I can't wait to get out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat this food. And then that presence would just catch me. It's like, this is the only moment. And I'll just drop deeper into that peace. Like, you're all good right now. Yes, you're going to have a moment where you're going to eat food and it's going to be tastier than the food you've eaten here, but it's still going to be this moment. And that was just deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I would say the final thing was coming out was quite a bit of a shock. So what they do is they let you out on the last night after it's dark. So it's already dark outside. So you're going and your eyes are still adjusting. But I actually found that quite difficult. Like I said, 9 days complete darkness. As soon as you get exposed to light, like I was like dizzy. I couldn't really walk. So be really careful with yourself after that. And I think they handled it really well where you go out, you eat dinner, there's a lot of light you're being exposed to, but then you go back into the dark room and you spend the night there as well. And then when you wake up in the morning, I woke up the next morning, it was like 5:30, the sun was just starting to come up, and I just walked outside and it was, again, just this profound experience. I was looking at the trees, I was looking at the grass, and I'm like, all of this came out of nothingness. This whole universe, me, this body, you watching this video right now, because in the darkness, you're in the womb, you're in the nothingness. And that's how the universe started. And out of that, this beautiful planet came and all of these things came. And I was just looking at these trees and wow, all of this came out of nothing. What a blessing life is, how profound and what an amazing experience it is to be here. Yes, we go through ups and downs. And yes, sometimes it sucks to be human. It's really tough and challenging. There was just this underlying gratitude for even the mess and the chaos of life. And that was something I'll always keep with me forever until the day I die. So that's what I wanted to share with you with the darkroom retreat. If you're going to go try it out yourself, I'd recommend the one in Thailand with Mantak Chia. Go check out his website. I think they do it twice a year. Really powerful experience, and I think you'd learn a lot from it. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button down below. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.